Some of these students are from devotee families also. So they've been born and raised in Krishna consciousness and, had varying degrees of interest. But when they moved in the ashram and then they found other people their age taking up bhakti, it was very inspiring for them. So there's maybe a quarter of these students are what we call organics. They were born in ISKCON, raised in ISKCON, and now they're deepening their... The other 3/4 are what we call GMOs. They are Gauranga modified organisms. And they have an interesting dynamic together because the GMOs say to the organics, oh, you don't want to experience all breaking the regulator principles. And the organics and the GMOs say, you've been doing this your whole life. And the organics say, well, yeah, I guess I have. So they kind of help each other like this. Prior to importing this idea of the family mood, no one had joined in Gainesville in the previous 10 years. So it has really changed a lot over the last almost 20 years now. And now we have regularly people coming, young men and women taking up bhakti. Slowly but surely. And we've expanded now from Gainesville to 5 other cities in the US and Canada. So that is our preaching. I've spent the last month here in India and speaking to college students and gatherings of devotees like this. And it's just so refreshing, first of all, to see so much genuine interest and sincerity amongst the devotees. It's kind of like taking the ghee, in preaching. So you have a wonderful field here in India. I was speaking with Bhaktivinoda Maharaj in Coimbatore last week, and he was saying, there's just so much to do in India, so many opportunities. And young men and women have this opportunity to share this wonderful teaching with your countrymen, and maybe elsewhere in the world, following in Prabhupada's footsteps as well. So what I've just come to share with you this morning is some of the ways that we're reaching the non-Indian audiences, trying to make the teachings of our acharyas more accessible. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not limit Krishna consciousness to one caste or one class. That's his great contribution, isn't it? And Srila Prabhupada writes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Lord Chaitanya delivered India and he kindly left the rest of the world for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we have a lifelong engagement and adventure. My friend Keshava Maharaj, Swami Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj? Does he visit here sometime? So he was saying when he was first coming around and considering becoming a devotee, there was a group of devotees in the room, and they all kind of turned to him and said, oh, you should join. And he was saying, oh, they recognize how special I am. Then when everyone left the room except the temple president came over to him and said, you join or don't join, this movement is going to be spreading all over the world. The question is, do you want to be part of the adventure? He said, sign me up. So Lord Chaitanya he needs all of us, but he doesn't need any one of us, but he needs all of us. So as we can work together in serving Srila Prabhupada and serving the holy name and sharing books and teachings, any way that we can reach people, this is how we please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7, I believe, Lord Chaitanya describes opening the storehouse of bhakti. And he and his associates went in and began eating the contents. But the problem was the more they ate, the more the supply grew. So they started passing them out and sharing them with the world. And still, the more they passed out, the more the supply grew. So this is the nature of bhakti. In seeing how Prabhupada served us all, he didn't charge anything. He didn't require anything. He just said, add Krishna to your life. And just add the chanting. And yena tena prakarina mana Krishna naveshyat. As Rupa Goswami said, somehow or other think about Krishna and the rules and regulations can come later. So this has been my career now for over 50 years, sharing Krishna consciousness, because it was simply the best thing I ever found in my life. And it has been a great joy for me, my family, my friends, and now so many new friends, young men and women coming like in the old days slowly, it's gaining momentum again. Things in America are getting so crazy also that the social upheaval that will probably be resulting will also be very good for our preaching. Because their people are very convinced. I can enjoy material life. This was perhaps the difference in my generation and current generation, that we were looking for alternatives. We saw our families comfortably developing economically, and it wasn't filling the heart. And so we were looking, and there were so many cheaters, but Prabhupada was there giving us the real thing, for which we are all eternally grateful. So, with that, now we can... would anyone like to ask any questions or reflections on what I've just shared about the practical application of Lord Chaitanya's movement in the world?
We had one of his students
Huh.
got married in our community, Bhakti.
Oh, yes.
He just a few months ago moved to Delhi.
Oh, okay.
So he was here for 2-3 years.
Uh-huh. He was here with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was part of the-
wonderful.
So we had the girls who grew up in Krishna Kashis here.
Ah.
So he got married to her.
I see.
So he moved to India, maybe he had research.
Mm-hmm.
So because of which he moved to India, he was in Pune.
Very good.
He might be online also, I don't know.
Bapi, if you're there, we miss you.
He might be there. He's in Delhi now.
Uh-huh. Very nice. He was one of the great gentlemen who stayed with us. Yeah, unlike Prema Rasa. I'm just kidding. Prema Rasa was from the beginning a very fiery preacher, and Bapi is very scholarly and laid back. All kinds of devotees join. That's the beauty of Krishna consciousness, isn't it? All right. So, anything else on what we discussed so far? How many are going to work this morning? Few. Oh, half. More. You don't want to think about it. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned it. But we'll end on time. 9 o'clock, right?
Most of them, we all are working.
Ah.
It's all working this year.
Ah.
But most of them have work from home.
Oh, you can manage it. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, we'll start with the bhajan that I've translated from Bengali to English in a way that it can also be sung in English. And the purpose of this is to bring the teachings of the acharyas right to the English-speaking audience. The idea of this being done in other languages is also very important. Our acharyas wrote in vernacular common language, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, so that the Bengali audiences they were addressing could easily understand these very powerful and deep ideas that they were sharing. So what we're going to do this morning is sing this well-known Udilo Aruna, Good Morning Bhajan, both in Bengali and English. Is that okay? We'll sing one verse by verse, Bengali, English. I do need a volunteer to manage the slides. If you just switch the slide just before the response comes to the last word. Okay? A little ahead. All right? And do we have a Madanga player in the house? All right. And Kartals? I'll take this off. More volume. Udilo Arunam Purababache Dwijamani Gora Amane Jage Bhakata Samuha Lohiya Sate Gela Nagara Brache Seeing the first of dawn in the east Up from his bed rose the gem of the priests, seeing the first red of dawn in the east. Up from his bed rose the gem. Joined by his bhaktas who gathered around, he danced through the countryside, hamlets and towns. Tatai, tatai, bajo loco, Ghana Ghana Tahe Janjera Ro. Preme Dhala Dhala Sonara Anga Charane Nupura Bache.
Preme dhala dhala sonaranga charane rupar baje.
Tatai, tatai, sing drums loud and sweet. Kartals and wampers precisely kept beat.
Tathai tathai sanga drums loud and sweet. Kartals and whomper precisely kept beat.
Ankle bells jangling away just above. Gauranga's golden form trembled in love.
Ankle bells jangling away just above. Gauranga's golden form trembled in love.
Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Bole no bolo revadana bori.
Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Bole na bolo re vadana bori.
Miche neda basse gelore rate divasa sharira saje.
Michani deabas gelore rati divasa sharira saje.
Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari poured from the lips of the blissful devotee.
Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari poured from the lips of the blissful devotees.
People, they shouted your corpses at night, and all day you dress up your bodies just right.
People, they shouted, you are crops as night, and all the day you dress up your body just right.
Hey mana durlava manava deha payaki koro bhavana keha.
Hemana durlabha manava deho paya ke ora bhave na ke ho.
Ebina bhajile jashoda sutta charame pori bilaje.
Ebe na bhajila yashoda suta chana me pori bajla je.
Birth as a human is so very rare. You have this blessing but don't seem to care.
Birth as a human is so very rare. You have this blessing but don't seem to care.
Snubbing the worship of Jashoda's son. Slowly you dwindle, decay, and are done.
Snubbing the worship of Yashoda son. Slowly you dwindle, decay, and are undone.
Udita tapana hoile asta dina gelo bole hoi bibyasta.
Udita tapana hoile asta, dina gelo boli hoi bebyasta.
Tabe keno ebe alasa hoi na bhaja hridoya raje.
Tabe keno e balasa hoy, na bhaja hirdoya raje.
As the sun rises and as the sun sets, you waste another day without regret.
As the sunrise and the sunset, you waste another without regret.
Why are you idle and when will you start to understand God who resides in your heart?
Why are you idle and when will you start to understand God who resides in your heart?
Jivana nitya janharasa tahena navidha vipadapa.
Jivana nitya jahara sar, tahe nana vidya vipadabha.
Namasraya kori jatane tumi takapanakaje.
Namashaya kori jatane tumi thakaha apanakaje.
Life is as fleeting as dew on a leaf, always reflecting a spectrum of grief.
Life is as fleeting as dew on a leaf, always reflecting a spectrum of grief.
What other service is equally sane as finding the shelter of God's holy name?
What other service is equally sane as finding the shelter of God's holy name?
Jivera kalyana sadhanakam jagate ase madhuryanam.
Jivera kalyana sadhanakam jagate asi madhuranam.
Abhidyatim niratapana rupe hrit gagane biraje.
Avidyati maratapana rupe hirdaya gagane bijaje.
Call out for Krishna and make the sun rise, blessing and brilliantly lighting the sky.
Call out for Krishna and make the sun rise, blessings and brilliantly lightening the sky.
Both in your own and in everyone's heart, conquer your ignorance, rise from the dark.
Both in your own and in everyone's heart, conquer your ignorance, rise from the dark.
Krishna nama shuddha koriyapan, jurayo bhakati vinoda pran.
Krishna nama shuddha koriyapan, jurayo bhakti vinoda pran.
Nama bina kichu nahi koaro, choda bhuvana mache.
Nama bina kichu nahi koaro, choda bhuvana majhe.
Bhakati Vinoda loudly proclaims, drink the pure nectar of Krishna's sweet name.
Bhakti Vinoda loudly proclaims, Drink the pure nectar of Krishna's sweet names.
These holy names are my very life here. Nothing in all 14 worlds can compare.
These holy names are my very life here. Nothing in all 14 words can compare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol.
Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Gaur Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bol.
Bol. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. How do you feel about this heavy preaching? Does that work here? People, you're just corpses at night, and then you just get dressed up all day. Why are you wasting your life? You don't seem to care. Is this how you present Krishna consciousness? I guess we have to be a little more subtle. What are the best ways you find to present Krishna consciousness to people? Here we see Lord Chaitanya and the Harinam party in the villages giving it straight sauce. Yeah, just, why are you idle? Why aren't you doing? But here, first of all, nobody is idle, right? I'm hearing India is becoming more and more westernized. Is that your experience also? How does that manifest? How do you see it becoming more westernized? Mm. Everybody's got their, yeah. You know, at the University of Florida, where I preach, the counseling director came to visit all the religious leaders on campus, and she said that their caseload had risen 50%, 100% with the same staff. So the counselors no longer had time to counsel; they could only administer medications for depression and anxiety, and just monitor the meds. And so they investigated what has caused this, and they found the problem, the reason more students were depressed and anxious: social media. People were feeling, I'm connected, okay, I've got so many friends or followers, but in fact it wasn't meeting their actual social needs. And so they brought a focus group of students together to ask, what should we do about this problem? The students met and they came back, they said, we think you should make a website. Kind of missed the point. So the beauty of Kirtan, of course, Lord Chaitanya's movement is we come together, Sam Kirtan, right, together, congregationally chanting. There's personal interaction, there is realization to sit and discuss bodhiyantas parasparam katayatas chamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. We get joy coming together and talking about Krishna. It's beautiful to see on social media. Yes, Krishna's there, and that's where people are. But sadhu sangha ultimately means that we are coming together for this shared experience. Any other reflections on this bhajan? Yes, Prabhuji. Or this topic? Yes. Yes. Please.
Indians, they feel they copy the Westerners. So that's the reason they are adopting their cultures. And Prabhupada did the same. He went to the Western world, he preached, and he knew that when the Westerners will come back to India, then Indians definitely would like to appreciate their own culture because it is being accepted by the Westerners.
It is interesting, isn't it? Yes. No, I'm fine. Thank you. No, please keep it. We're going to do another. Okay, thank you. This is an experience, I've lived through for the last 50 years. This East and West dichotomy. In the early days, ISKCON, back in the 70s, it was, everything was happening in, ISKCON was happening in the West, in North America, Australia, even South America, Africa, Europe, and India was Timbuktu. This remote, austere place that nobody really wanted to go to. And I understand from some of my senior godbrothers that Srila Prabhupada was a little fed up with India. When he started getting a response in the West, he was, why should I bother? He was there 20 years, and he had one casual disciple. And yet his determination was unbroken, which is just such an example for us all. Nothing deterred him, karmadye vadikaraste, that he was attached to his duty, but not to the fruits. They were up to Krishna. Nonetheless, when he did start getting response, he was thinking how much America, he said specifically, it's like my home, it's like my adopted home. And it's been so good to me. But then when he brought the Western students back and people saw, there's so much exploitation of Indian culture by the British. So naturally there's, this cultural uncertainty is there. But to see the young Westerners was certainly helpful. But now the roles are reversed. ISKCON India is growing just in amazing ways. And ISKCON in other parts of the world is growing, but slowly. Yeah. And we have this cultural struggle to deal with now. Again, diversifying our community so it looks more like the greater community in which we exist. So the point is that what we're doing in India is so beautiful because it's a traditional culture. And the more people experience this westernization, the more they're going to realize how empty it is. And so they will be turning to the tradition. They'll be returning to their roots. And in the West, the more crazy things become, and they're becoming crazier very fast, the more people will be looking for some stability. In Krishna Lila, there were so many deaths, right? Right from the beginning. Putana, Trinavarta. Nanda and Jashoda were very worried about the character of their son. By the time he was 3, he was a murderer, he was a thief. And so, but we don't see it in Lord Chaitanya's Leela. Nobody dies. Only Jagai and Madai were threatened, but they were rescued by Lord Nityananda. And he convinced Lord Chaitanya that you've come to save the most fallen. If you kill these two, then who are you going to save? So, Lord Chaitanya is this, in Kali Yuga, he's very compassionate, very accepting. When Srila Prabhupada came to Atlanta in 1975, I had the good fortune to see him. And when he arrived, he gave the shortest arrival address he had ever given. You can still hear it on the Veda base, 1975, February. He said, at that temple at the time there were Gauranitai deities, and he had just come to the city really for the first time, and it was packed full of devotees. And he said, I've just been around to Mexico City and Caracas and Miami, but of all the temples, your temple is the best. And we all said, Hari Bol, although most of us were not from Atlanta. But And he was very happy to see these Gaurnitai deities, beautiful, large Gaurnitai deities. So he began speaking about how Lord Chaitanya is so kind. He said, Krishna demands, sarva dharmam parichada, surrender. But Lord Chaitanya is so kind, he does not demand. So just take shelter of Lord Chaitanya and be happy. Thank you very much. That was the end of his speech. But the last part, the tears were just streaming down his eyes. Lord Chaitanya is so kind, he does not demand. So please take shelter of Lord Chaitanya and be happy. So it was a beautiful experience. So now we are doing our best to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya. Circumstances in the material world are always changing, going eastern, going western, this, that. The essence of our movement is the holy name, and the essence of taking shelter of the holy name means to chant our rounds nicely, especially if we can do it in the morning. Then we have sort of a vaccination for the day. You know, we may deal with all kinds of things in the world, and we won't be affected, and our hearts will remain thinking about Krishna. This is the great mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You know, Nam Namakari Bhavada, Nija Sarva Shaktis, Tatrapita Niyamas Smarane Nakala. There's no rules and regulations for chanting. Krishna is always accessible in the holy name. Once a devotee said, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna is present in his name. Prabhupada said, where in his name is Krishna? And is Krishna present in his name? He said, no, that's not correct. Krishna and his holy name are non-different. So when we chant, we are associating directly with Krishna. Lord Chaitanya accepts us just as we are, very, very happily. You know, he is smiling to see us chant. Sometimes devotees ask, well, I'm not remembering Lord Chaitanya when I chant. We don't have to remember Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda because they're just happy to see us chanting. Once in New York, the devotees were trying to reach a more upscale audience than the hippies, and so they rented an expensive theater in uptown New York and advertised, but nobody came. And so they were feeling very bad. Prabhupada, we spent a month's rent, and we're sorry, but nobody came. Prabhupada said, nobody came? Didn't you see? Lord Brahma was there. Narada Muni was there. 4 Kumaras were there. And the devotee said, Prabhupada, what were they doing? He said, they were laughing like anything to see the Malechas chanting Hare Krishna. So we have the right to do our service. So it is with japa. Japa is a service. You know, chanting the holy name is a service. You know, Lord Chaitanya reversed the Vedic mantra. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Just to eliminate any sense that you have to be a Brahmin to chant this mantra, this Vedic mantra. See, no, anyone can chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. And so when we chant, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, he's just expressing this is my very life, just associating with Krishna in the form of his holy name. Krishna accepts us as we are. That's the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He doesn't require us to be somebody else. And so when we're chanting, we can just open our heart to Krishna. And Krishna, here I am with all my material desires and all of my distractions. And I chant, and then my mind is here, and I chant, and my mind is there. But here I am anyway. I'm coming back to you. You have to accept me. Here I am. Take it. Yeah, I'm your burnt chapati today. You please take it. We don't have to put on any pretense and think that, well, Krishna will only accept me if I'm this way or that way. This is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He does not demand, and he's not judgmental. Even Krishna really is not judgmental, right? He says, Sarva dharmam parichaya. So you surrender. And elsewhere, just a few verses earlier, he says, now I've explained everything, yatecha sita takuru. You do what you want to do. One of my friends said, this is my favorite verse from Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Where Krishna says, do whatever you want to do. No, he says, now you understand and then do what you wish to do. Use your intelligence to liberate and then act as you desire. So he doesn't force us, and he accepts us and he's very pleased if we're just trying. Any reflections or questions on this aspect of Lord Chaitanya's mercy? Okay. So we do another bhajan then. Anyone here speak Bengali? Good, so you will not recognize all my mispronunciations. As an ignorant Westerner, I used to think everyone from India understands the meaning of these bhajans. And I don't. But come to understand, no. Very few people speak Bengali in this part of India, right? In general. It's I think the seventh most widely spoken language in the world, Bengali. But it's very isolated where it is spoken. Kind of like Mandarin Chinese. So this is a song in Bengali, sung by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's somebody we can relate to as a householder, as a busy person with a job, who is keeping his Krishna consciousness intact early every morning with his chanting and his writing. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings about this wonderful, amazing development. He looks out his window in his house one day, and right next door to his house in Sarabi Kunja, there's Lord Nityananda has set up the marketplace of the holy name. So Lord Nityananda is the owner and the manager of the marketplace of the holy name. This is the meaning of Koda Nitai. He's the owner and the manager. For decades I thought they were singing Gora Nitai, but no, it's Koda Nitai. Koda Nitai, the manager and the owner, Lord Nityananda. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, seeing this development, he becomes a salesman. He's going to go out and market on behalf of the marketplace. And who do you think are the customers? Yeah, we are the customer. That's us. We're the so this bhajan is a sales pitch by Bhaktivinoda Thakur to us, the customer, to purchase the holy name. And what is the price for purchasing? Shraddha, faith. Yes, Shraddha. Now there's two kinds of Shraddha. There's Adau Shraddha and Nishta. Adau Shraddha is a preliminary faith where one accepts that God exists and wants to understand God better. So Adau Shraddha is the price for purchasing the holy name. Nishta is advanced. That comes later. But Adau Shraddha we have to have. And Nitai checks everybody when they're entering. You have this, he qualifies. Okay, you can enter. But then, once you purchase, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is extolling the glories of what you purchase. And he also has his own motivations, as you'll see. Okay? Next slide, please. Boro Sukher Kaborgai, Boro Sukher Kaborgai.
Bolo sukher khabor gai, boro sukher khabor gai.
Surabi kunjete namer hata kuleche.
Surabhi kunjete namer hatha kholache.
I sing of ecstatic news, blissful and fantastic news.
I sing of ecstatic news, blissful and fantastic news.
Nitai's Kirtan marketplaces in Surabi Kunjan.
Neta's Kirtan marketplaces in Surabhi Kunja.
Koda Nitai, Koda Nitai.
Nitai, Koda Nitai.
Boro Mojar Katatai, Boro Mojar Katatai.
Boro mojar kathatai, boro mojar kathatai.
Shraddhaya Mule Shuddha Nama Sehate Te Bikai.
Shraddha mulai shuddha nam se hatite bike.
There are smiles on every face in that holy marketplace.
There are smiles on every face in that holy marketplace.
Krishna's holy names are sold for just the price of faith.
Krishna's holy names are sold for just the price of faith.
Koda Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Jata Bhakta Vrinda Basi, Jata Bhakta Vrinda Basi.
Jata Bhakta Vrindavasi, Jata Bhakta Vrindavasi.
Adhikare Deke Nama Beche Darokasi.
Adhikare dekhe nama veche darokasi.
All devotees are attracted to the market's interactions.
All devotees are attracted to the market's interactions.
Nitai qualifies each buyer, then conducts transactions.
Nitai qualifies each buyer, then conducts transactions.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Jadi nama kimbe bhai, jadi nama kimbe bhai.
Jadi nama kinbe bhai, jadi nama kinbe bhai.
Amar sange chalo mahajanir chachai.
Amar sange chalo mahajanir kache jai.
Brother, if you want to buy, let us go now, you and I.
Brother, if you want to buy, let us go now, you and I.
Let us go and meet with the illustrious Nitai.
Let us go and meet with the illustrious Nitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Tumbe kimbe Krishna nam, tumbe kimbe Krishna nam.
Tumi kinbe Krishna naam, Tumi kinbe Krishna naam.
Dasari lo ibo ami purna habe kama.
Kasturi lo ibo ami purnaha bekama.
You will by the name of Krishna, I will gather my commission.
You will by the name of Krishna, I will gather my commission.
Then we both shall relish our auspicious acquisitions.
Then we both shall relish our auspicious acquisitions.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Borodaya Nityananda, Borodaya Nityananda.
Borodoyal Nityananda, Borodoyal Nityananda.
Shraddha Matra Loye Din Paramananda.
Shraddha Matra Loyedin Paramananda.
Nitya is so very generous, faith is all he's asking of us.
Nita is so very generous, faith is all he's asking for us.
In exchange, he gives us bliss unparalleled and endless.
In exchange, he gives us bliss unparalleled and endless.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Ek bar dekhle chak se jal, ek bar dekhle chak se jal.
एक बार देख ले चक्षे जाल, एक बार देख ले चक्षे जाल.
Gora bole nitai din sakala sambal.
गौरा बोले नित्या दिन सकल संभाल.
Now chant Gora if nitai sees one teardrop in your eye.
Now chant Gaura, if Nitai sees one teardrop in your side.
Anything you want or need, he surely will supply.
Anything you want or need, he surely will supply.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodhanitai, Kodhanitai.
Den Shuddha Krishna Shiksha, Den Shuddha Krishna Shiksha.
Den Shuddha Krishna Shiksha, Den Shuddha Krishna Shiksha.
Jati Dana Vidya Bala Nakore Apeksha.
Jadi Dana Vidya Bala na kore apeksha.
Krishna's teachings are so pure, this profound entrepreneur
Krishna's teaching are so pure, this profound and
cares not for your for knowledge, money, strength, or even your birth.
Grace not for your knowledge, money, strength, or even your birth.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Amane chade maya jal, amane chade maya jal.
Amani chade maya jal, amani chade maya jal.
Grihe tako bane tako natake janjal.
Grahe thako bane thako na thake janjala.
Forest, home, or anywhere, shedding Maya's web of snares.
Forest, home, or anywhere, shredding Maya's web of snares.
All at once you will be free of each and every care.
All of at once you will be free of each and every care.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Anaiko balir boy, Anariko kalir boy.
Arnaiko kalir boy, Arnaiko kalir boy.
Achandale den namanita doya moy.
Achandela dene nam nitai doya moy.
Although Kali Yuga is here, you don't have a thing to fear.
Although Kali Yuga is here, you don't have a thing to fear.
Even Chandalas can buy from this kind marketeer.
Even Chandalas can buy from this kind marketer.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Bhakti Vinoda Dake Koi, Bhakti Vinoda Dake Koi.
Bhakti Vinoda Dake Koi, Bhakti Vinoda Dake Koi.
Nitya Charana Bina Arnahi Ashroy.
Nita Charna Bina Nahi Ashrayoy.
Bhakti Vinoda cries out, and Nitya's feet there is no doubt.
Bhakti Vinodas cries out, Nitya's feet there is no doubt.
Are the only shelter you can never do without.
Are the only shelter you can never do without.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Kodanitai,
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Kodanitai,
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Gaur Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bol.
So what was Bhaktivinoda Thakur's motivation in selling us the holy name? What did he say? When he makes a sale, what happens? He gets a commission. Yes. And so, what is a commission that we get when we introduce someone to the holy name? Pardon me? We also get the mercy, yes. It's like an override, right? In sales, right? You make a sale, and then if the person you sold makes another sale, you get a commission from that one too. Yes. So any reflections from any of these verses that you noted? Yes, Prabhu? Please. You want to pass the mic?
feeling very blissful in your association, Prabhuji. Just one thing I wanted to tell, and just one small question I have. You're talking about marketplace, you're talking about sales, you're talking about mission. Can you please take us to those days of 1970s, 80s, 90s, where people were mad to propagate this mission, to expand this mission? Because in our life, many times we feel that although we want to contribute, but sometimes we say, but I have a job, I have a family, I need some rest. Anyways, 5 days, especially for grahasthas.
Yes.
Brahmacharis are fully committed.
Yes.
But being a grahasthas, many times we want, I need some space,
Yes.
some rest.
Yes.
So-
Yes. So this is a very good question. Your good name, sir?
Kamal Nath Das.
Kamalanath?
Kamal Nath Das.
Kamalnath Das. Nice. Thank you very much. Very nice question. Yes, I just want to tell you that in the 60s and 70s, people were mad for spreading Krishna consciousness. It slowed down in the 80s and 90s in the West. And this is, Prabhupada writes about this, is to be expected on the departure of the spiritual master. There will be chaos in the mission. And so we're still working out some of the chaos, but it's so much better now. So, yeah, I had 10 wonderful years as a brahmachari. Now I've been a grihastha for 43 years. So I know a little bit about what you're describing. And the main thing is that we understand that Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. He knows the heart of the devotee. So what is our intent? Adivas, what is our intention? Bhaktivinoda Thakur, again being a householder, 13 children, and a big job. He wrote this beautiful bhajan, Kabe Habe Bolo Se Dinamar. When will that day be mine when I can preach the holy name? Srila Prabhupada had exactly the same response when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta gave him this order. You take this, you speak English well, take it to the English-speaking parts of the world. He said, within himself he was thinking, well, okay, I have my wife, I have my children, I have my responsibilities, so I'll make money. I will make money and use it to propagate this mission. Right? That was his plan. And so Srila Prabhupada had a very good opportunity in his business. I don't know if you've ever heard this story, but when he was, because he was a graduate of college, but he didn't go to accept his degree as a protest to the British Raj. It was a British college. But he got a job immediately from his family friend's chemical company, Dr. Bose. And Dr. Bose gave him an executive position right out of college. So this made some of the more senior employees unhappy. But he said, I need someone for this post that I can trust like a son, and I know this boy. He's like a son to me. So immediately he got into a good position. And he was learning the chemical business, which he did not know. He had no training in, but he learned it. And then another company came and offered him a job, a similar job in their company for more money. And Srila Prabhupada said, I was young and puffed up, a little puffed up. So I told them, yes, I'll take your job, but I need this, this, and this. And they said, forget it. He said, if I had taken that job, I would have made lakhs of rupees just sitting in an air-conditioned office signing checks all day. But because somehow he didn't get that job, the other employees in Dr. Bose's company, meanwhile, went to Dr. Bose and said, here's this employee, your trusted son, talking to other companies, talking to your competitors. And so they kind of made a buy, get out. But he said, that's right, now I know this business, I start my own company. And his company for a while did very well, and then it didn't, and then it was up and down. And all this time, in his heart, he was always remembering the mission of his spiritual master. Sometimes he would go years without seeing any godbrothers. And then when they would meet them, he'd be so joyous and he would help them. So the point is that if we have the desire, Krishna will make the arrangement. Again, in Atlanta in 1975, telling this story about meeting Bhaktisiddhanta, he told how Bhaktisiddhanta had told him, now you go and teach this in the West. And he thought, well, I have my other responsibilities. He said, that was my mistake. I should have joined immediately. I think he was saying that to encourage us who had joined immediately. And yet, if we look at Prabhupada's life, how it all unfolded. He did everything he could in business. It ended up a failure. He did everything he could to teach in India. It ended up very little impact. So the main lesson we take is that whatever situation we're in, we just do our best for Krishna every day. See, we do our best for Krishna every day. Then there's no stress. If you work, you get up and do some sadhana. That's the most important thing, you know. After health, Prabhupada gave this hierarchy. Health is most important. After that is sadhana. After that is service. After that is reading. So we get up, we do our sadhana, we maintain our health. Then we do our work, which is our service, if we're using it for Krishna. Manasa deha geho. So that's the hard part, turning your study or your work into service for Krishna. But it is. If that's our dharma as grihastas, that's what we do. You know, at no point in the Gita did Krishna tell Arjuna, you sit back and relax and I'll do the fighting. He said, but you fight, don't fight for the kingdom, fight for me. It's my desire that this should happen. So when Arjuna understood that, he could fight with enthusiasm. So similarly, our house, our family, these are actually Krishna's property. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this. I used to think they were mine. Now I understand they're yours. And now I see, instead of thinking I'm in charge, I'm the proprietor, now I am the servant who takes care of Krishna's property. And this way our job, our family life becomes devotional service. And then when we get home at night, if we're very tired, yes, the main thing at night is if you're not going out for a preaching program, take rest early. We have a tendency to think, okay, this is me time. Let me pull out TikTok and scroll mindlessly for a while. I don't suppose anyone's ever experienced that. This is like a little relaxation. Okay, but the point is that the body is tired. Sadhana is our important thing. So rest, good for the health. Every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 after midnight. They say so, you know, sleep as early as possible. Get up naturally early, chant. Then if you need some me time, do it then. Whatever you do in the morning, you do better. You know, for the last 25 years, I got in the habit of rising early and writing for 45 minutes. And because that's the time of day my brain works. After that, trying to write is very difficult. So the beauty of doing that is over time you produce, you know, you have something to show. And you have so many options in the morning once you've chanted your rounds, and it's still early, right? You can read, you can write, you can do bhajans, you can sleep. Anything you do at that time, you'll do better. So if you want more sleep then, all right. But not until you've chanted your rounds. So this way, grihastas can also be Krishna conscious. And if we cherish that desire, sometime in the future we can do more preaching as vanaprasthas, you know, and share with others. But meanwhile, yare daha tarhika Krishna upadesha, whomever you meet, wherever you go, tell them about Krishna. You know what attracts people to Krishna? It's the behavior of the devotees. So all we have to do is just, in this world there's so much stress, competition, anger, so we just insulate ourselves with a vaccination of the holy name, then we kind of rise above the modes and the ocean of emotions. People will notice that. And they want to know, what is your secret? Well, you're keeping cool when there's so much passion around us. And in this way, just by being with people, we can introduce them to Krishna consciousness. Bring them prasadam, just slowly. You know, nobody likes a fanatic. Hi, my name is such and such. Now, you're going to chant Hare Krishna or what? Right. Is that all right? Okay, Prabhu. Other reflections, questions? Prabhuji? Apurva?
Hare Krishna Guruji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful musical class. It was very enlivening, even at temple here also. So the question is, whenever we are preaching, sometimes it takes time to get the results in terms of, you know, the sharing of Krishna consciousness, where people are adapted or adaptive. So I'm sure in the Western countries also, it must have taken a lot of time to take people for the Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
And during Prabhupada time also, Prabhupada struggled a lot, 30-40 years in India, and very harsh weather in US, and he struggled a lot.
Yes.
So So the first question is, how can I understand the frustration in one sense, which is undergoing in the life of Prabhupada. So how it is transcendental? That is one question. And how...
Okay, can we start with that one? We see how Prabhupada struggled so much. How is it possible Krishna would allow? Why would he have to go through so much struggle? And the answer is that this is how Krishna glorifies his devotees. If everything is very, very easy, then where is the glory of the devotee? Of course, Prabhupada made it a lot easier for us than it was for him. And it's a lot easier now, believe it or not, than it was in 1972, even though there was a lot of excitement, people were joining and so forth, but we had very few books, very few lectures, we didn't know very much, but we had enthusiasm. So, yeah, Krishna always puts devotees through troubles. And then we have this challenge that when we are going through troubles, how do we reconcile? Krishna, I'm trying to serve you and you're making it difficult. And the answer to that is explained by Lord Brahma in the 10th canto, that when we have difficulties, first we see that it's our karma coming back to us, okay? And we're just getting a minimized amount of it. Our tendency is to blame the person who's giving us trouble, but this only lowers our consciousness and we fail to learn the lesson, right? So if there is difficulty, it's my fault. I forgot Krishna, I'm here in the material world, what do I expect, right? And so then we determinedly say, I'm going to continue serving in spite of this difficulty, and we do it with a smile on our face. Why? Because I expect Krishna will be merciful to me. So in this way we deal with difficulties. And Prabhupada showed that example by being completely unflustered through everything. I saw Srila Prabhupada about 50 times, and good fortune. And every time I would see him, he was like in this picture here, very grave. You can't tell exactly what he's thinking, but he's very ecstatic. Inside he's just, what is Krishna bringing now? I was once introduced to Srila Prabhupada with some other brahmacharis, and as we were introduced, he looked at each one of us. And as many devotees experience, when Prabhupada looked at you, you feel like melting into the floor. You feel like he's looking right through you. I thought he was thinking, oh, he sees what a horrible person I am. I'm so embarrassed. That's what I was feeling. But Shruti Kirti, his secretary, explained, no, when Prabhupada was meeting new disciples, he was saying, okay, Krishna sent me this person. How can I engage this person in Krishna service? That's what he was thinking. See? So, yes, Prabhupada was not affected by these ups and downs and reversals. He was accepting everything as coming from Krishna, and he had great optimism that Krishna will provide. Okay.
Ruji, another question is, when the results are not coming, so it affects the efforts also. With whatever enthusiasm we were putting the efforts, initially. So that happens in my case, that over the period of time, if the results are not coming, so the efforts or the attention to details, so these things are missed out. So can you help?
Yes, you see, Krishna consciousness is susukam kartum avyayam. It's happily done, and not only happily, susukam, happiness on steroids. That's what I saw in Srila Prabhupada. He was always blissful, although his appearance would not always reflect that to the person who couldn't understand. So there's two things. One, is it a question of being determined, or is it a question of being intelligent? So if we're doing something and it's not bringing results, we should, and also we're feeling discouraged by that, can be a sign from Krishna that we should try something else. See? It's not ritualistic, right? We just do this and do this and do. There's no formula for spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. We're pioneering. We're figuring it out. So it's important to have the courage to try different things. Okay, and also to be personal enough that Krishna is understanding our feelings. So he may be guiding us in a certain way by having feelings of disappointment and guiding us to try another approach. So we should tax our brains and see, okay, maybe what I'm doing isn't working. What else might I try? Does that make sense? Okay. All right, and we confirm that with Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. Right,
Thank you
yes,
so much.
other questions, reflections? Any Matajis? Would you like to share anything? Prem Rasji?
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, one comment and one question related to the preaching in Grihastha ashram. So, one thing is that Prabhuji, like we also see that health matters a lot, as you were also saying that Bhaktivinoda Thakur said health, sadhana, and seva. And I think in Grihastha ashram that is very important because we are occupied with so many responsibilities, and if we are not healthy, then we cannot focus on any of these things. Then also in the long run, maybe we start doing something over enthusiastically, but then we do not realize the consequence of that in the long run. And that's why like Rupa Goswami also mentions in the Nectar of Instruction, Ussa Nishchaya Dhairyat. So it is like enthusiasm balanced with patience.
Yes.
So that helps a lot to keep it balanced out. I think the problem here is that we are expecting too much results, or maybe in massive quantity. Like for example, if we see some devotee, and especially in the current generation of social media, there are so many devotees who have become so popular. So we want to imitate them. And then there is the expectation, yeah, okay, no, I also want that many followers or that many number of devotees to be made. And
Right, in the mood of Lord Chaitanya, Nadanam Najanam Nasundara. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah. So I think all these artificial things or subtle things, they will create artificial
Yes.
desires, and they will distract us. I mean, in the name of preaching. And that will also create some kind of demanding situation for us.
Yes, yes. This is the mode. The mode of passion causes stress, and the mode of passion has us thinking a lot about the future, right? So we tend to think about the future and make plans for our present. Krishna sees. We see the present and make plans for the future, right? Krishna sees the future and makes plans for our present. In other words, whatever we're getting is coming directly every day from Krishna. So, yes, first point, take care of our health. Second point, if we're expecting a lot of results and feel disappointed, then this can be a symptom of the mode of passion. But for Grihastas, just to be in Krishna consciousness and in family life, it takes exercising gratitude. I am fortunate to be here. I'm fortunate to have the family that I have. I'm fortunate to have the economic situation I have, whatever it is, elaborate or simple. I'm fortunate above all to have the holy name. So the problem is we see this life as being so very important, and this is one of the beauties of getting old in Krishna consciousness. You look back and just like, I used to think it was so important, this and that, and now I see how unimportant it really was, although it was my duty at that time to see it as very important. See, now I see, okay, the real thing is the holy name. And somehow or other, I kept chanting back then. For that, I'm grateful. So if you just keep chanting as you get older, the return on the investment gets richer and richer. They say the salary is lousy, but the fringe benefits are out of this world. Yes, and we try to maintain our health, but inevitably the body starts breaking down. Things you've counted on your whole life, your liver, your teeth, your hair, your brain. All of it starts, one by one, you start losing everything. And then, what is left? For the materialist, there's nothing but desperation and panic. But for the devotee, there's, oh yes, what was I expecting? Yes, I have these lofty expectations, I'm going to have such a nice life, and then I have this body just collapsing on me. Oh, thank goodness I learned this when I was young. Now I'm not surprised, now I'm prepared. So, yeah, keeping that perspective. Raising expectations stresses us out. And in the Gita, Krishna says, now, buddhi bedam janayet, it's better to do your own duty imperfectly than another's duty perfectly. This means comparing ourselves to others just creates stress. We don't have, I don't have as many followers, what am I going to do, right? This is a completely unnecessary stress because we only have to compare ourselves to ourselves. We're doing better, we're doing more, this is our credit. So I think we're hitting time now. Thank you so much for coming. Hare Krishna, have a wonderful day at work. And I don't want to keep others who need to go. Please feel free. Okay, so there it is. That's the boss calling right there. So in my preaching, I produce these books for introducing Krishna consciousness in English. There's editions of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th and 1st and 2nd canto, as well as Charanagati. If you'd like to take any of these, I brought some along. Please feel free. You can take, if you really want to read it, take it as my gift. If you could donate something, you can give to Prem Ras Prabhu. If you need to use UPI, perhaps the temple could collect those donations. And feel free, I'm happy to sign if you have time also. So thank you for being here this morning. I hope you have a wonderful Gaur Purnima. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Purnam Mahotsava ki jai.
So, as we all know that we are traveling tomorrow night for our annual yatra, therefore we couldn't have Prabhuji join us on the weekend. So we thought at least Prabhuji has come to Pune after a while, so let's have him on today morning. Although it's a weekday, I knew everyone will have a work day because our whole community is of working devotees. So, but nonetheless, we are grateful for Prabhuji coming all this way from NVCC here, almost 1.5 hour drive, and coming and giving his association the morning hour. When I was listening to these beautiful songs, I was remembering a kind of my. I'm a visiting faculty for a few MBA colleges here. So most of my outreach is in English language. So I was thinking how nice it would be, if I have to sing this song and simultaneously go with the English version, these students will develop so much appreciation. Otherwise, our approach is, of course, I teach leadership there, but sometimes I do have bhajan or kirtan program for them. I have never taken any bhajans. I've only did kirtans. But I was thinking, you can have this wonderful bhajan, and this way you can introduce Gauranga and Nityanand Prabhu, and they'll connect so easily, so nicely. This kind of a preaching this kind of outreach method can really click, even in India, particularly in the localities where we preach in English language. People will. So I was just thinking about that. That's a wonderful, wonderful. I would definitely use this project. And in this urban audience, people connect more than philosophy. They connect with our kirtans. This is what they sync with. Resonates with them, particularly this urban audience. And through this, then philosophy begins to make sense. And now I'm just thinking, because I've never done this bhajans for this kind of audience. Now, if we have bhajans in this format, we don't really have to wait for so long, bringing from the kirtan to philosophy. We can, in the very first two or initial sessions only, we can introduce philosophy in a musical presentation. This could be a fantastic way of presenting. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. And thank you for coming all this while. Again, I really wanted him to be here on weekend so that whole community could take part of Prabhuji's association. But because we're leaving tomorrow evening for annual yatra, we are not here on the weekend. So I requested Prabhuji to be scheduled. We are leaving for Varanasi and Ayodhya tomorrow night, our annual yatra. So we were not here on this weekend. And I believe you came on Monday. So therefore, we couldn't call you for the previous weekend also. So we only had a weekday. So I thought, okay, so be it. So let's thank Prabhuji for this wonderful presentation. And here are some books available, if anyone of you would like to take a look. So all of you probably remember Bhagavad Gita, The Rap of God. This was the last time we took this book. So,
I'm set to donate for the ashram.
Okay, yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
So for the Grahastha, there's a duty for them to contribute. So Prabhuji has come all the while. You can take 1 or 2 books for yourself. Prabhuji is here for some more time. He can personally sign and bless. So let's thank his guest Prabhuji by once loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And I believe this long break was probably because of the COVID, because of which he couldn't come. We hope Prabhuji will come every year and will have his association in Jawadi. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for coming.